If he loses to Jack, does he get right back in the mix at 170? Works his way back to that title shot. Is that what he does, or does he cut his weight back down to 155 pounds? It was Ilya, what he's going through now, what it is Islam in the announcement that we just got. What I'm attempting to prove to you is there is nothing in this sport that matters more to the fighters than the weight.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down?
Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestled really good. Like, even with me, I like really commit to it. I took it down. Their team's so good at like hacking it, get a plan and sticking to it.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on you.
Off rip.
Starts putting damage on you, and he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle.
MMA pros have just shared their final verdicts on the upcoming clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalen. Gilbert Burns supports Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, saying 170 suits him better. He sees a fight with Jack Della Maddalen as close, noting Jack's training with Volkanovski and Craig Jones. Though he hasn't studied the matchup deeply, Burns expects a competitive bout.
Islam's working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proven himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalen doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Robert Whitaker believes Islam Makhachev could thrive at welterweight, pointing out the toll of cutting to 155. He thinks Makhachev's strength may translate well to 170 and compared the move to Ilia Topuria's situation, calling it the $1,000,000 question that fans are eager to see answered.
I guess that's the $1,000,000 question. That's the question everybody's asking. And that's kind of the question. It's the same situation as Topuria as well. How good is Topuria? But what's he going to look like up weight division? Same with Islam. By all reports though, the weight cut was really hard for him, like really, really hard. He's super strong for that weight division, which, you know, must translate well to moving up, making it a little bit easy cut. Maybe he gets a little bigger. It's yeah, I'm very, yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question. Everybody's asking the same thing.
Whitaker further said it's hard to predict how Islam Makhachev will adjust to welterweight, as moving up brings unknowns. Still, he believes Islam can do everything Belal Muhammad does, only better.
Definitely, but like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Belal does, but way better. Okay, way better.
However, Belal Muhammad said he sees Islam Makhachev taking Jack Della Maddalen down, pointing to Islam's strong wrestling. He mentioned that even in his own fight with Jack, he had to fully commit to get the takedown. Belal praised Makhachev's team for their ability to build a smart game plan and follow it with precision.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down?
Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestled really good. Like, even with me, I like really commit to it. I took it down. Their team's so good at like hacking it, get a plan and sticking to it.
Moreover, Chael Sonnen questioned whether Islam Makhachev would stay at welterweight and work his way back to a title shot if he loses to Jack Della Maddalen, or if he would drop back down to 155. Using examples like Ilia Topuria and Makhachev's own situation, Sonnen emphasized that nothing matters more to fighters than the pursuit of the belt, calling the championship the most important thing in the sport.
If he loses to Jack, does he get right back in the mix at 170? His way back to that title shot. Is that what he does, or does he cut his weight back down to 155 pounds? Was Ilya what he's going through now, what it is Islam in the announcement that we just got? What I'm attempting to prove to you is there is nothing in this sport that matters more to the fighters than the weight.
Robert Whittaker also noted Jack Della Maddalena's last win was close but deserved. Whittaker sees a tough fight ahead if Jack faces Islam, but believes Jack's drive and past performances show he can rise to the challenge.
I thought Jack handedly had the fight, but it was a fight. Okay, so I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Jack, but I believe in Jack. I think he's got that X factor. He's got that hunger there. You know, he's got the ticker, and you know, just like with Bilal, just like with Burns before, I think he can do the impossible.
Ian Machado Gary praised Islam Makhachev and said if he moves to welterweight, the entire division should take notice. He called Islam a dangerous and highly skilled fighter who could be even better without the strain of cutting weight. Gary added that Makhachev is a complete modern MMA athlete, technical, composed, and a serious threat to anyone.
And if that man turns up and says, I want to be next, then I think everyone in the welterweight division goes, okay. He's an absolute disaster for everyone in the division. If he comes up and doesn't have to cut weight, he'll still be big, he'll still be strong. He's the perfect example of the new evolution of fighters. Great everywhere.
Daniel Cormier noted that Jack Della Maddalena doesn't wrestle offensively, but defends well while landing damage early. He said Jack looked sharp in his last outing, though he didn't face early takedown pressure. Against Islam Makhachev, that will likely change, with Islam shooting quickly and forcing Jack into grappling exchanges from the start, something Cormier sees as a potential issue if Jack isn't prepared.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on you.
Off rip,
Starts putting damage on you, and he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle.
Cormier also explained that Islam's wrestling isn't conventional. Instead of relying on standard double or single legs, Islam uses cage pressure, foot sweeps, and trips to wear opponents down. He warned that Jack might not be familiar with these tactics, which could cause problems. While Cormier didn't pick a winner, he said the matchup is compelling due to the clash of styles and the test it presents for Jack under pressure.
I struggle. I don't know that he's ever felt anything like he's gonna feel, because it's not gonna be double legs and single leg with Islam. It's gonna be him playing with his feet, tripping him, moving around on the octagon side, doing things that he don't recognize as freely.
But she didn't answer the question.
The problem is, like, I can only give you that because I can't truly make a prediction. The job doesn't allow it.
Dan Hardy praised Jack Della Maddalena's talent, but questioned if he can lead a deep welterweight division. He doubted Islam Makhachev's success at 170, saying Jack likely wouldn't lose to him and that the added size and cardio demands could trouble Islam.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or, you know, he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, you know, on any day, you know, including Ilya Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev. But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Bilal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, you know, whether he would look as strong and as lean or whether he would look heavier and, you know, potentially gas himself out because he'd be stepping straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
Renato Moicano said a fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena should be seen as even. He acknowledged Islam's grappling and size at lightweight, but noted that moving to welterweight adds challenges. Moicano emphasized that Islam would need time to bulk up properly and adjust to stronger opponents, making it a fair and balanced matchup.
So Islam versus JDM.
I think they probably should be even, you know, because even though Islam is a good grappler, he's big for 155. He's moving to 170. We never know, you know. I think he needs to take some time to work on to gain weight, to gain power, you know, to gain strength. So that's why the odds are even, and I think they should be even.
Javier Mendez said it's hard to compare Jack Della Maddalena and Ilya Topuria as threats, but emphasized that Islam Makhachev is motivated by the challenge Jack presents. He expressed full confidence in Islam, praising his well-rounded skills and strong work ethic.
How do you feel about this version of JDM as a challenge for Islam? Do you feel like he's a harder challenge than an Ilya Topuria at lightweight?
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want. You know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area.
Mendez added that Islam competes on a different level than anyone Jack has faced and expects an exciting fight if it happens. He also said the move to welterweight won't be a problem, as Islam will still be a strong contender without being undersized.
It's a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Navajo Sterling said he believes Jack Della Maddalen would dominate Islam Makhachev if they fought. He argued the matchup would be so lopsided that it would take away interest in a future Islam versus Ilia Topuria fight. Sterling pointed to Jack's size and precise mid-range striking as major issues for Islam, making it tough for him to close the distance or shoot for takedowns. He also noted that Islam wouldn't have the usual size advantage in this matchup.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
So you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. That's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Alexander Volkanovski analyzed the matchup between Jack Della Maddalen and Islam Makhachev, saying Jack's performance against Bilal Muhammad was ideal preparation. He believes defending takedowns in that fight gave Jack a major confidence boost. Volkanovski added that Jack's takedown defense has significantly improved, making it difficult even for elite grapplers to take him down or control him.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalen. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Bilal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stopping takedowns, because again, there's every fighter still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, you know, worried about, you know, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
John Wood called the fight between Jack Della Maddalen and Islam Makhachev a great matchup. He said Jack's experience against Bilal Muhammad gave him valuable exposure to a similar style, and that Islam just executes it at a higher level. Wood believes if Jack keeps improving and his confidence stays high, it makes for a very interesting fight. On the feet, he gives the edge to Jack, but noted the key will be whether Jack's takedown defense can hold up.
I like it. I think that's a great fight. I feel like if Jack can keep building upon what he did in his, you know, in against Bilal, I mean, he's seen that style now from a champion, and it's, you know, very similar to what Islam's going to do. I think Islam does it a little bit better. So as long as Jack is improving and getting better and his confidence is there, it's very interesting. I feel like on the feet, you know, I think Jack's got him on the feet. It's just that obviously if that takedown defense can hold up, that's the thing.
Wood added that Islam is tough to bet against right now, comparing it to betting against a fighter like Kamaru Usman in his prime. He acknowledged that there are some holes in Islam's game and takedown entries, and that Jack might be able to exploit them. However, until someone actually solves the puzzle, Wood says Islam remains a dangerous and dominant force on the ground.
With Islam, obviously everybody is like, it's one of those things where you can't bet against Islam at this point in time until you see a chink in the armor. It's like betting against Morocco. You know, you could do it. It's not a smart bet. But until someone figures out that puzzle, I don't know. Islam is a different kind of cat on the ground, you know, and his striking is not bad. You know, he's going to come at you and get you to strike and eventually, you know, take a shot. There are some holes in his game and holes in the entries, and you know, obviously, you know, being Team Khabib, there are definitely some things that you can expose to get that win. And if Jack figures that out, I think it'd be the long night for Islam. But again, I wouldn't bet against Islam until I see somebody kind of break that code.
Michael Chiesa praised Jack Della Maddalen for his smart game plan against Belal Muhammad, noting how he stayed off the black line, used stance switches, and forced Belal into ineffective takedowns. He admired Jack's ability to adapt under pressure and said, while he's unsure if Jack can beat Islam Makhachev, he's interested to see if Craig Jones's training can help him counter the dominant Dagestani style.
We have to give credit to Jack Della because he did such a good job not getting boxed in. He was able to change stances, strike from both stances, and avoid the pressure from Belal, because if Belal can box you in and get past that black line, you know, he's gonna, and when I say black line, it's the octagon within the octagon. There's that black line right by the fence, and if he can get you past that black line, that's when he pours it on the thickest, and he did a good job using his stance changes to not get boxed in, forced Belal into taking long shots, and forced Belal to fight his fight. So I got to give credit to the former champion. He fought a great fight outside of his wheelhouse, which is his grappling, but credit to Jack Della for fighting a great fight.
Does he beat Islam, do you think?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's Islam's a big boy, and he's a very smart fighter. I don't know. You know, we'll see if the Craig Jones magic can pay off. Is Craig Jones really the kryptonite to the Dagestani style of fighting? That remains to be seen, but I'm here for it.
Jack Hermanson said it's tough to predict how fighters will do when changing weight classes, noting that at lightweight, Islam Makhachev looks nearly unbeatable and could be the pound-for-pound best. While unsure if Islam can repeat that dominance at welterweight, Hermanson still leans toward picking him. He added that Jack Della Maddalen looked great against Belal Muhammad, but believes more fights are needed to fully judge where Jack stands.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, you know, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. It looked amazing against Belal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
Henry Cejudo believes Islam Makhachev will beat Jack Della Maddalen and claim a second UFC title, calling it the next step in his rise. Kamaru Usman, however, is backing Jack, praising his composure under pressure and saying he has what it takes to keep the welterweight belt. Both expect the fight to happen in October in Abu Dhabi, likely delaying any bout between Islam and Ilia Topuria.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, keep it shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the talking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilia versus Islam Makhachev just now.
Dustin Poirier said the fight could be decided early, depending on whether Islam Makhachev lands quick takedowns. If he does, Poirier favors Islam, but if Jack Della Maddalen stops them, his power and reach could take over. He also noted that Islam's striking looks unusual because opponents are constantly focused on defending his wrestling.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalen?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's gonna go.
Charles Oliveira highlighted the stylistic clash between Jack Della Maddalen and Islam Makhachev, calling Jack a patient striker who breaks opponents down over time, while expecting Islam to focus on his wrestling. He said the key to the fight will be whether Jack can keep it standing.
Quem que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalen e o Islam?
Maddalen, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalen fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this fight? What do you think about their matchup? We would love to hear your thoughts on this clash, so share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other latest videos on the screen right now.